And we're back like we never left. All right, so I said all the things that I said in part one. If you haven't watched it, it'll be either in the, I don't really remember. Like, I know it is mirrored on the phone, so I don't remember where it would be. But yeah, I was previously talking about different aspects of life, and there was another topic that I wanted to talk about, which I have to get better at making lists of things that I want to talk about and go over in videos, because I don't mind multi-part videos, but I have to have it a little more organized, because I I can go on a tangent and then I can forget the original purpose of the tangent. Like, I made in the last video, I was making a tangent about when I first came out with depression, and it tied into the previous point I was making about not feeling like I had a voice. And I was sitting there thinking, like, as I was talking, I was getting to that point, and I was like, oh man, I might forget where I'm even going with this. And then it hit me right in the head, and I was like, tie it back, there we go. But that's the other thing about trying to be organized. It's so hard to do that when it's like, okay, I have a point. Okay, when I get to talking about this point, okay, I got something else I could bring from my brain and throw it in there. That's unplanned. So I kind of like more unscripted videos anyway. Plus, it doesn't really seem like anybody's complaining about it. But I wanted to talk about this other thing that I saw on Twitter that stood out to me. I want to preface this by saying that I've been reading a couple different manga recently. I've been getting back into shonen. Currently, I read Undead Unluck, Don Don, Kagurabachi, Astro Royale, I believe. It's a new series. I never read Tokyo Revengers, but I've seen so many people was crapping on Astro Royale because of the fact that I guess most of the character designs look exactly like Tokyo Revengers and everything like that. And I heard about how Tokyo Revengers ended, so I'm interested. I like it so far. I read One Piece, but I'm still in Wano, and I've been kind of taking a break on it. But I'll get back into it. What else am I reading? I think that's it currently. Yeah, if I remember, if it's anything else, it's not like it really makes a difference. The point is, I've been getting back into shonen, because shonen, even as a teenager, was always something that I was really interested in. Sailor Moon was probably, I think, Sailor Moon, Inuyasha, Ranma One Half, and Rurouni Kenshin. Those are like my typical manga that I read, but Naruto was one of the ones that like had a chokehold on my life for a while, because of the fact that when I first started reading the Naruto manga, it came on Toonami. Like, literally, I kid you not, I might have read maybe, I want to say maybe 7 volumes of the first 7 volumes of Naruto. And right as I started reading it, I saw a commercial for the anime coming to Toonami, and I said, wow, I gotta watch this. And I've been kind of on and off with Naruto, but I would like draw Naruto and everything like that. I mean, Dragon Ball Z was big, but Dragon Ball Z was already like airing and everything like that. So Naruto was kind of the one that I saw from like the beginning. But shonen has been a big thing in my life. Like, I started kind of getting into seinen when I got older, but shonen always has a place in my heart. Like, there's a lot of different series that I've read that I need to either reread, catch up with, or finish. But it's just, man, And Undead, Unluck, Dawn to Dawn, and Kagurabachi are all really great manga series. Like, I haven't felt this much excitement to read a manga every month. The Jujutsu Kaisen, I cannot forget, one of my favorite series, because I was there from the beginning, and then I fell off, and then I caught up, and now I'm caught up, and I want to do like a different skits and stuff just based off Jujutsu Kaisen alone, because I'll be seeing it on TikTok, and it's like it's so funny. But um yeah, like I was always inspired by shonen. Like when I was reading My Hero Academia when it was first coming out, and seeing Midoriya's story and everything, those type of stories always inspired me. Like seeing Naruto grow up, me and him being about the same age until they aged him up again. It was just like, it was so interesting. And I say all of this because I saw a post that was talking about, and this could be either triggering or you might not agree with what I have to say, but it is what it is. It was talking about basically, beating your kids. It was saying that it really heavily negatively affects your mind, which I mean, trauma tends to do that. But they were saying like, if you're in an abusive situation or a situation where you feel like you're being hurt, you're threatened, you're in pain or whatever, and you feel like you can't escape, the only choice that you have is to escape the reality of the situation. So it's like as an adult, you become very imaginative, which they were saying was not good because of the fact that you end up never really being grounded in reality. Like I have to reread it to really get it, but that's how I interpreted it. That's how I told my mom about it, because that's how I understood it, because of the fact that, and I'm not just saying, just because I was beat as a child, this holds meaning. Is probably being beat, but also putting myself in a lot of situations where I feel like I'm alone. I've been traumatized a lot more in my life from just getting beat. Like I feel like that might have been probably the harmless if that's considered trauma, that's probably some of the harmless trauma on the trauma cake. But I think about it because ever since I was young, I would try to embody my favorite characters in a series, but I wouldn't just like try to embody it. Like when I was out in public, I knew like Sasuke was one of my favorite characters. I knew I wasn't trying to go around and be called Sasuke, but I was the too cool for school guy. Like I was emo at a young age, so I just related to Sasuke a lot more. And that was funny enough because my brother was a Naruto to my Sasuke. Every time I would try to be broody and in the mood, he would be optimistic and try to like, he would mess with me to a point that it's like, now I have to react because I'm trying to be too cool to react, because that's how Sasuke would act. And he'd be like, he'd punch me or something, and then be like, nigga, stop. And then I get in trouble and we kind of laugh about it. But, that I wasn't I wasn't a kid that was yelling Rasengan and Naruto run. I did Naruto run a little bit, but I wasn't just like, I had sense enough to be like, okay, some things are weird, calm it down. I did that at the privacy of my own home. Like I wasn't trying to go Super Saiyan outside. I promise you, I wasn't scaring the hoes. But I would like adopt the personality of the characters, and then I also had my own kind of interpretation about it, because a lot of times, like Soul Eater is a perfect example. Black Star. I The most confident I ever was in my life was when I was emulating Black Star's energy. But even then, you only get like subtle hints of who he is outside of that boisterous personality. So I would kind of headcanon, my own like type of way about it because I was insecure about myself. So I'm like, maybe he had a little bit of insecurities himself, and he had Tsubaki. I didn't have a Tsubaki, so I kind of, I'm Black Star. I imagined a Tsubaki in a sense, and that's kind of how I would do it for the series. Whatever, like friend group the characters might have had, I would basically pretend to be that character, have those people around me. It made my world feel less lonely. But as I got older, I started to kind of I started to get out of that. And it wasn't really so much of like I felt embarrassed about it. Now I would never talk about it per se, but you know, I started I guess I started losing that imagination. And I started to just like, yeah, I can relate to the character, but then it's like I can relate on the surface level. I don't have the type of friend group or anything like that that they have. And that was kind of, a big thing in shonen we typically see is two guys, one girl in the group, that love triangle, but also like a nice bond. I always wanted that friend group. I had me and my brother. My brother isn't blood related, by the way. That was kind of like another thing about the Naruto Sasuke dynamic. We're brothers, not really brothers, but I there's so much from shonen that I think about that I wanted in my life. And another, I saw a TikTok that was about basically like a hopeless romantic, and it was the typical, the dude was like, it's not you, it's me. And the girl was like, oh really, I've heard that before, blah blah. And he was like, no, it really is me. Like, you're not living up to the person that I imagined you would be in my head. And the woman started saying, like, so you just go through a consistent cycle of basically people not meeting your expectations. It's like you're not seeing them for who they are. So basically, you're not living in reality, and you're constantly going to be alone because you're never going to accept the reality of life or something like that. Again, something I should have rewatched before, but again, that's kind of how I interpret it. And it made me think about the fact that, I never really gave myself a chance to fully experience life as is. Like, there was always some type of expectation or something that I wanted that may or may not be realistic. Like, obviously, I'm not in a situation where my life is in danger and there just happened to be a boy and a girl there that we going through the same thing. We bond through that. It's like the reality of the situation would be that we do bond, and we do. If we don't, we don't. And my biggest thing was the fact that I've fallen off with so many of my friends, even the women that I was dealing with, because most of the time, they're like, yeah, I saw them for who they were, but I also saw them for who they could be. That's why I stayed in my last relationship as long as I did, because I saw her as the person that she would be if she didn't go through all the things that she did. And I felt like maybe if I loved her enough to heal those wounds, then me and her could be a lot happier. But It's not realistic. You can't love somebody in the healing if they don't feel like they need to be healed in the first place, and it's not your job to heal people. And that's another thing, because I feel like so often I take on so many different people's wounds. Okay, that's a plant. I feel like I take on so many people's wounds and try to heal them. And really, I just end up being that person that, they're, oh, this and this. Like, I literally met a woman that literally just liked to complain to me. But it was like I was the only person that she even had. Like, she didn't really have any friends. She didn't have anybody else she could complain to. So we ended up just being kind of like in this trauma bond until it just disappeared because of the fact that it's like she got mad at me for being myself. It's like I don't know what you want. It always kills me the fact that people love you when you laugh, joke, and talk crap, but then it gets to a point when it's like, oh, you doing it a little too much, or oh, you think everything funny. It's like, was I not a laugh and a half when you met me? What did you expect? Like, I could get serious if I feel the need to. Don't feel the need to. But yeah. And even reading these the newer series I've been reading, Undead, Unluck, and Don, for example, I see the dynamic of the main characters, their slowly growing cast of people, and just, it does still make me think about what I want in life to be. I want to say it's not even the idea of having like a lot of friends, but because I'm the only child, it makes me think about how I want to have a network of people that I can actually call my friends, and we actually show up to support each other. I'm not saying that none of my friends have done it or I've ever done it for them, but it just feels like it all kind of withers away, and it makes me think about what do you need to do to be that person. And even there's one of my coworkers, me and her started talking more and more, and we had a conversation about being true to ourselves. And she was saying that she, no matter what, she still shows up as who she is because she knows what she wants. And she's not gonna, you know, settle for anything less than that. And that's one of the biggest things that stick out to me with her, is the fact that she understands the things that she wants and her convictions in life. And she shows up as herself. And I told her one day, it's like, I'm glad that I got to know you because it makes me show up more genuinely than I typically would with anybody else. Like, there's like one other person that that's there that I feel like it's kind of hard for us not to be genuine toward each other. And that's kind of the biggest thing that I struggle with, like I mentioned before, is the fact that I don't feel like I am being 100% myself. I know a lot of the things that I want to do. I know even steps it would take to do those things or get to a place where I'm closer to doing those things. But a lot of times I get discouraged more easily, or I don't a lot of times feel like I deserve those things. And it's a lot harder to show up as genuine as I can be. Like, to exist in my own being, just getting to this point where I'm at now mentally has been a journey. But then it comes from the fact that the reality of where I am versus the reality of where I think I am. And that is oh my God, that's the most frustrating thing that I've come to understand. I am nowhere near as bad as I think I am. My situation is nowhere near as bad as I think it is. Because it could always be worse. Like, yeah, there's a lot of things that I'm not happy with where I'm at. And there's a lot of things that I may not even be in control of as far as, fixing or anything like that. But I deserve so much more than what I tell myself I deserve. And it's funny because of the fact that, there's this other person, this other coworker I have, and, me and her was talking, and she was being real nice. She was offering to do things like, dude, I've only known her for maybe like 3 days, and she was already offering to do things like off the bat. Not those type of things, nice people things. And I'm just like, so what I got to do? Nothing. Why are you being so nice to me? Because that's just how I am. And I was telling my mom and my dad about that. And I was telling my mom, I was like, it's so funny because that is so hypocritical of me to side eye a nice person, considering the fact that, am I not a nice person? I buy breakfast for people. I check on them, make sure they're okay. If they need something, I help them out when I can. For what? What do I get in return? I get a smile on their face most of the time. And that's all it takes. It's not that hard to understand that there's somebody else like me out there. And I just find it funny because it's like, if I felt like I couldn't trust her, that means I wouldn't even trust myself. And if I don't trust myself, where would I even be at? And that reshapes how you feel about a lot of different things in life too, because people ask, would you date you? It's like, yeah, I would date me, but then it's like, this girl being too nice. I don't know, that's kind of weird. And it's like, you're too nice a lot of times, so you wouldn't trust you. It's like, I'd have to warm up to me, but I guess ultimately, yeah, I would trust me. But shoot, I had to come to terms with the fact that I'm handsome. Which I know, shock, oh my God, he didn't know he was handsome. But it's like, I was very vain as a teenager. 15, 16, 17, when I started losing weight. If you just went through my Facebook back in the 2012, 13, 14, whatever, you was probably, shoot, I think I even had pictures on my Instagram that I archived. That just like, I feel cringy about it now because it's like, man, it's not like I even had muscle. Like, I'm more defined now. I was literally just skinny back then. Like, I was so used to being fat. Like, they called me a 3-month pregnant stud because I didn't have hair. So I got tired of hearing that, and I lost all that weight. And you couldn't tell me nothing. But then it's like, literally, the wind could have blew too hard and I would have flew away. But I felt good about it. Now I feel like my body looks more like what I want. Obviously, I still got to tone it up in certain areas and, keep up with it and make sure that I get clothes that fit me better and everything, which is another reason why I want to do clean out. But that is understanding the simple things about yourself. Like, I never felt like I should be, like, after the high school phase and everything, and I started getting more depressed and everything like that, I didn't really think too much about the good qualities of myself. I mean, being handsome is a good quality, but it doesn't make you a person. But it's the fact that I'm handsome, I'm funny. I make a lot of people laugh. I'm just saying, and I care deeply for people in general, essentially, but even more so for people that I get to know and understand their trials and tribulations, as well as even being able to vent about mine. Which again reiterates the point of I am not as bad as I feel I am. Literally, there are times where I have to say, if serial killers can feel good about themselves, then you should feel at least slightly good about yourself, at the very least. Because there's so many serial killers that felt like they did nothing wrong, and it's like, last time I checked, I ain't killing nobody. So, that might be bare minimum, but it's like, at the very least, if you can't even think that, if you feel like you have to atone for living for not being a serial killer, something ain't right. And I know something's not right. I understand that. I'm working on that. And I think that's the biggest thing about the reality of the situation versus what you imagine it to be. Because a lot of times I feel like imagination is it's got more of a positive spin on it. Because when you think imagination, you're going to think about all the good things in life. But on the same coin, you could think the worst things about life in your imagination. It's raining outside. It's not really raining, but like hypothetically, it's raining outside, and you think that the sky is falling. No Chicken Little. Like, you have to understand the reality of the situation. I don't think imagination is bad, but you do have to, like, after seeing that post, it does make me think that you do have to understand the limits of, where does this mindset stem from? Am I imagining things worse, or are things really this bad? Is it wrong to imagine a better life? No. But you have to understand that life might not necessarily go the way you think it will at times, or it might not happen as quickly as you think it will. That's kind of the other thing, because nothing in life is quick. Except a man when, never mind. Anyway, uh, anyway, things take time, and that's why I want to continue making content. That's why I made this YouTube channel way back in the yonder years, because I wanted to show the progress of somebody getting to learn themselves and understand themselves and explain different concepts of his mind. Because if you watch this video today and you watch my first video from way back when, maybe 2015, and you can see the difference. Like, not only in appearance, because I've seen what my hair look like. I just scroll through the thumbnails, my God. But even the way I talk, it might be more advanced. My voice might have changed, but there's a difference, and I want to continue to advance, and I want these videos to be not proof of that per se, but proof for whoever stumbles upon them to say, hey, okay, I see where he started, I see where he's at, I'm curious about where he's gonna go. Subscribe. I don't even think I wink properly. But subscribe, but also, like, okay, if he's noticing these things and me and him are kind of similar, what can I do to work on myself as well? That's what it all boils down to. And I want to get back into making more videos more often, because I see a lot of things on Twitter or Facebook that I feel like are interesting talking points. And I want to get back into playing games. I will get back on Twitch. I just want to get a new laptop and go from there, because OBS won't even update on the laptop that I have now. So I did a test stream and it crashed, and I haven't tried again because I just want to wait to get a new laptop. But I do still want to upload video game content and everything. There's still games that I want to stream that I haven't played specifically to stream. But these two videos, I might post this tomorrow and post the other one. We'll see. But these videos are my way of trying to get back into the groove of things, as well as just trying to keep a steadier out of work habits, instead of, doing the same things all the time, feeling discouraged, everything like that. I say all that to say, I think that's it. I said earlier, subscribe if you want to see my journey. Like, comment, tell me what you do or don't like about any of the topics I discuss, maybe even me. I've heard when I put that knife short up, everybody and their mama had something to say, but it got me 8K views. But with all that being said, thanks. I'm out.